Welcome. I'm going to do a presentation about 3D Rigs User Experience Smackdown. To start with, my name is Thomas Polgar. I work as a concept manager at a value-added distributor called HDX, where I preach a lot about Citrix and also Citrix-ready products. And actually, I have a web page called polgar.com where I actually provide these informations. So and actually it's private. So I want to share knowledge for free. Also sharing scripts and so on, what I've done in the past. I used to work also as a consultant, resellers for many years. That's also my experience. So, just to talk a bit before I go more deep in, this agenda I will talk about my user experience also. Actually, on the customer sides, I've been working with the technology for a couple of years now, the HDX 3D, and this is something I want to share with you. So I hope you like it, we can use it. So first of all, I will talk about user classification. Why do you have to think about that first? Identify stuff. And then I'll go into software classification, and within that area is more specifically what Citrix can deliver with the Synapse 6, how they can actually take the GPU and actually share it with the users. So this is something new that you're capable of within Synapse 6. And I will actually show you also how to configure it. And I will go more, the reason why I call it Smackdown, because I'm going deeper into the technology and telling you what is good and what is bad. Because there are great things, but there are also some things that's not good. And then I'll dig into Synapse 4 with HDX 3D Pro Graphics and what it can do. And then we'll take the next level and how can you progress further with the sharing of a graphic card, and that's with Sensor 5.6. You're capable of going in and taking the graphic card and actually virtualizing it and making it pass through directly. I'll come further in that. And then I'll go in and talk about what's new and also what's going to happen and what's going to be the next level, maybe this year or 2012, 13, who knows. And yes, there's no NDA, I will say. I'll be a bit careful about this. And also, I think a quite important thing is, okay, so we have identified our users, we have identified the software we want to use with Citrix. What about the hardware then? And this is why I have chosen 4 hardware vendors. I've taken HP, I've taken IBM, Dell, and Fujitsu. And I will try to show you, okay, which kind of servers or workstation can you actually choose for this technology. It's pretty important actually, this one. And there's no actually vendors that has contacted me. This is like me doing my own investigation and actually sharing the knowledge with you. So first of all, it's very good to go in and do a user classification and go in and understand, okay, which kind of users do I have in my company and how can I actually provide the technologies. And this is like something you have seen from Citrix, and you have task workers, basic knowledge workers, and desktop power users and performance users, where you're capable of giving them a virtual desktop. And that's why VDI is very popular at the moment. But what about these users we have? Engineers sitting with desktops that cost about 20 times more than normal PCs. What can we do with that? Well, today there's the Blade workstations. There are other protocols we can do it, but it's one-to-one. This is something I would like to address, and how actually Citrix can go in and solve that issue. So the technology direction is, we have server-based computing that's been there for many, many years, and been great. And the next level is VDI. That's speeding up the process of users. That's for normal task workers, production users, and so on. But what about these desktop power users? Oh, whoop, sorry. Okay. So, as you can see, we have a gap because there's these desktop users who are requiring more and more graphics, and we have these also. The engineers where they require high performance graphics, and for that solution, that's what I mentioned before. We had these remote workstations. So there's a hole between this, and how do you solve that? Well, this is something you're capable of doing with this new graphic accelerated VDI, which is one-to-one, and we're going to see more. I know that in the future it will be more like many-to-one, but we are not there right now. So yeah, I will talk about how we will be able to enable the ability to virtualize graphics in a hypervisor and also through protocols. So this is I'll try to demonstrate how actually Citrix they can provide the protocols for these kind of users. And I have been out there for quite a while. Now RemoteFX is not integrated to HDX, not yet. It's getting there. And the HDX 3D actually takes care of the last gap. So, HDX 3D Pro Graphics is able of delivering worldwide talent pool. So this is the kind of users, like engineers, CAD designers, people who are making desktop publishing, graphics in Adobe or CATIA and so on. This is actually a couple of users you've never been able of actually giving a virtual desktop. You said, okay, give them a very expensive computer and then leave them alone, and then we look at all the other ones. But why not actually go in, listen to these users, and actually then provide them technologies? And this is something that I want you to more understand, that there's a big market out there, and it's not been looked at. Some of them have been a lot of POCs out there. There are some solutions out there in the world, but not many. And to start with, to go in and understand that this market, it's very important to see, okay, which kind of applications do they have today? What are the requirements for these 3D applications? What about bandwidth, licensing? So, the software vendor, do they support client operating systems or do they support server operating systems? It's quite important. And in the end, when you're done, taking this new technology and giving it to the users, well, they should have the minimum requirements as they had today, so they shouldn't become worse. That's the goal of making this project a success. So to this Citrix, they have two solutions. They have, the new ZF6. It has the HDX 3D Pro Graphics. It's integrated to the technology. It's disabled by default. You have to go in and enable it. The other technology is the HDX 3D from Citrix 4. It's been out there now for about 1 year. How many of you know about HDX 3D? Okay. So, let's go deep in. So, if you take this ZF6, this is how I'll show you. I'm not going to more deep in how actually it communicates, but this actually shows the levels of layer, how you can actually take 3D applications that use DirectX and actually deliver it to users. You're able to be capable of doing that now. DirectX and Direct 3D, but not OpenGL. This is very, very important. So, we are capable of taking a server, putting a high-end graphic card, and deliver actually, share the graphic card out to the users. So this is very new. I don't know, anybody know this? I tried it, but it works. I tried it, and I was amazed. I've seen engineers working with Autodesk products, and they were blown away.
Quick question, Peter.
Yeah.
Is this dependent on a certain version of DirectX? If it's like DX9 only, or is it?
Yeah, exactly. The DDI, it requires minimum 9, 10, or 11.
Okay, so it does work for 10 as well.
Yeah, but it works better with 11 because that's what's it called? The WPF version 4.0. So it delivers better experience because of the graphics. Also, I've seen actually on the forum that people have gotten working with the HDX graphics because Citrix, let's say officially, it's only supported the NVIDIA Quattro graphics. So this is kind of cool. You can actually take ICA graphic, high-end graphic card, put it into a server, and then share it with your users. So this is new. So this is like, I think this is like taking the setup to the next level. I've been waiting for this. Instead of like, it's not only VDI. So this is great, but there are some advantages and disadvantages, or advantages and disadvantages about the technology. So to go in and enable this graphics, you have to go in and configure a key. It's very easy, just put it in, and then it works out of the box. That's it. So, if you have a Synapse 6 today, and with a graphic card, most of the servers today actually have a graphic card, a small one, then you can actually go and enable it and see much way better user performance. So what happens actually, when you go in and enable this, the CPU is offloaded, then it goes in and use the GPU to render with the 3D application. And also when you go in and do some other stuff, then it actually shares the load between the GPU and the CPU. Just kind of cool. I don't have any resource with it, but I've been doing some performance with some tools. You can use OpenGL testing tools and 3DX and actually see how what can it do, how can it leverage, and you can go in and do that. Another cool thing is you're actually able to have a Mac and also actually sit and work with your 3D applications in your data center out to the end device. I tested it and it worked. This is something that doesn't work with SIP desktop. So I don't think it would be a problem also taking an Apple device or Android or another device and actually use this. So this is kind of cool. Many people are like, oh, if I want SIP desktop HDX 3D, it only works for PC or Linux. What about my Mac? Oh, sorry. But actually with here with Synapse 6, you're actually able to take the 3D application and leverage it out to the user. Oops. So the advantage, as I see it, is that you're capable of centralizing the data and securing it. So imagine you have like 1,000 employees using Autodesk. It takes a lot of time to go in and manage the computers, a lot of licensing and so on. Now you can actually take that, put it into a Synapse server. You don't have to manage all that stuff, and you get all the great benefits of RDS today. So I think this is great. Also, here last week, Autodesk, they pronounced that Autodesk have 9 products that work on standard. So it's certified, which is awesome, because that's the next step. Or earlier I told you you have to be careful about what about the vendors? Do they actually support it working on a terminal server environment? What about licensing and so on? That is something you have to. I've seen where projects die. You know, the technology might work, but the vendor says, "Hey, you give no support without licensing. You have to," and then give them wrong. So as I mentioned, OpenGL direct draw is not available or it's not supported. It doesn't work. It says wrong. Another thing is these kind of users. So, okay, I'm taking my Autodesk users. So how does an engineer looks? Well, many of these users are actually using 3D devices, mouse called 3D Space Pilot. Anybody on the audience know this technology from 3D connection? Have you seen this? Crazy mouse, kind of cool, where you can like twist and turn around the object. So this is how actually the performance users are using today. You have these devices, so it's very important getting this to work. And actually it's difficult also to get it working in a synthetic environment. At the moment, it doesn't work with Synapse. I've been talking with the 3D connection and saying, this is a big issue. Autodesk just certified 9 products working in Synapse, but the mouse doesn't work. You have 1 million users using this mouse. This is not good. So, right now they're investigating it. They have a driver that they're trying to do some stuff. And actually it's because of the virtual channel how they actually communicate. It's not a normal USB device. That's the issue about this. Another thing is, well, it's great. You just have to be careful. You know, if you're taking 50 users or 10 users, putting it into one GPU, there's no control of the GPU, so you have to go in and actually, you know, look at it and seeing actually how many users can I have in working there. But it's great now. You have the option of doing it. Okay, so this is a video I'm taking within, so you can actually see this is HDX 3D Pro graphics for Sun Desktop. This is I think it's a cool technology. You know, it's been out there now for a couple of over a year and full support in enterprise ready and so on. But you know, there's still some limitations in the software, and this is something I want to share with you, where you have to be, you know. Great technology work, amazing over not much bandwidth, 1.5 megabit.
Procession.
Sorry?
Procession.
Procession?
Every session, 1.5.
Yes, of course, yes, very important. Yeah. But still, it's amazing. You can take this technology. You know, you can sit down in Africa, working in CATIA or another program with a 30 gigabyte drawing. And it works just like you're sitting next to the workstation, maybe with a latency of 220 milliseconds. I think this is pretty amazing. Even some customers that tried it with 300 milliseconds, where it also works. But yeah, it's 1.5 minimum per user. And the good thing is it worked with OpenGL, and many of the 3D applications are written and using the OpenGL. So this is one of the advantages of using the technology.
What
compared.
version?
Sorry?
Any version of OpenGL or specific versions?
That's a good question, actually.
No, it must be a special version.
Exactly.
Because the problem is normally you have OpenGL.
I think actually it's 2.0.
Yeah, 1.1 is the official for Windows. The problem is you have to accelerate this at your graphic card.
Yeah.
Because normally the application takes 1.1 and you have some really crappy effects, so you have to put your graphic card to the actual 2.x and then it will work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, there's one thing I want to correct Citrix, because this is something that they're wrong about. They say you have to use the newest graphic driver from NVIDIA. Actually, it's seen that you have to use some old drivers for the NVIDIA to get it work because there might be an issue with screens and so on. And even better, if you got a special NVIDIA graphics to an application like Autodesk or CATIA or so on, there's a lot of certified performance optimized drivers for 3D applications. Better use these drivers. Actually, I've seen 25% better performance just by using another driver. So that's a lot of optimization you can do with this technology. So, okay. So the first part is went a bit fast. So we need first a piece of hardware, where like a blade, workstation, whatever, server, rack. You put in the graphic cards. Must be an NVIDIA with CUDA, with Quadro, or you can actually also use GTX, or you can actually use Tesla graphic cards with GDI graphic card, but that's not supported with 3D applications and so on. But the best practice is using a Quadro card from NVIDIA, and to use GPU compression, which is using the less bandwidth, you have to have minimum 96 cores of the CUDA core. So this is NVIDIA CUDA core. This is where actually Citrix used this cores to make the rendering and the compression out to the users.
And how many CUDA cores do you have on a normal video card?
Well, what is a normal video card?
Depends.
Say FireGL 5800.
But FireGL, that's ATI.
ATI, okay.
You need an NVIDIA.
What was the simplest model?
If you take a server today,
Right.
many of these servers they have maybe FX 2800 or less. You have to go in and see actually NVIDIA's webpage. You can go in and actually quickly see how many CUDA cores they have.
So the FX 3800 would have how many cores?
3800 has about 192 cores, I think.
So it's pretty
So
much
don't
standard
300.
one video card per user, more or less, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's 1-to-1. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just like to add that Semester 4 doesn't support the new Fermi architecture. So there's cheaper cards from NVIDIA with enough CUDA cores, but they're based on a new architecture. So even though it should work, it doesn't. Well, Citrix is working on that.
Okay.
So there's like a Quadro FX 600 card that should work, but it doesn't.
That's okay. That's quite interesting. Because I know that the new FX, the Fermi 4000 works, and also the 5000 and 6000. But yeah, there's a lot of testing also. NVIDIA they just released a new series of graphic cards for mobiles. So they're actually taking the graphic cards, they're getting very smaller, and they're actually providing more CUDA cores. So this is like pretty interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on right now. So you have to test it in and find out. Go in but normal today it's FX 3800, 4800, and 5800. That's the early model that works brilliant with this technology. But I also have seen FX 4000 and 6000 works.
And another question, in remote FX, even though Microsoft says you have to use those FX models and stuff, but you can still run remote FX, obviously unsupported, on the small cars, like GT 440 or GT 460. Can you have this functionality on those entry-level cars, just even for a test lab?
Well, you can also use other graphic cards, but then it's CPU compression it will use.
Right.
Then it's not GPU. But yeah, you should still look at the audience, the guys who actually going to use technology. So this is an engineer. He has a workstation. Costs maybe about €8,000. Pretty expensive laptop actually. Maybe more. So this sorry, I just lost it. Where I'm going to go.
So it has to be a specific supported card, FX with
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, well, what I was saying is, you know, companies are paying a lot of money actually for the device they have today, but actually the machine is not the one that costs money. Many times it's free applications. You know, CATIA costs quickly from 100,000 euro up to 150,000 euro per user. So you're sitting there with graphic cards that cost about from maybe 500 euro up to 1,000 euro, a couple of thousand euro.
No, I'm just saying,
You know,
the
that's-
perspective that engineers, before they come to customers, they obviously have to know how it actually look like, because the engineers would not have something like this to test in their basement.
Yeah.
So that was just that
A
question.
quick way of getting, you know, speed up this process, and I've seen this with architects, is actually, you can actually also use it for your laptop, if you have a quad core. Many computers today, they have this FX830-800. So you can actually just install the software, the X3D, and the VDA to leverage the desktop. So I think it's pretty cool. You can actually install it on your workstation. Then the architect can go home or out to construction, sit in there and work from his laptop, connecting up to his workstation. But this is also a way of actually improving the technology. But that is not enterprise ready. So, you know, but still, it's also a good way for maybe less engineers, because if you're like 5 or 10 guys sitting there, and you come in and say, hey, you need a Blaze server with all these kind of servers, and it costs so much money. And yeah, it is the best way of going that direction. But still, you know, you also have to sell the solutions, and in this way of, you know, just putting in the software on the current running installation is quickly convincing people of saying, hey, it actually works. Isn't this amazing? So, yeah, these are some of the requirements that I mentioned. The GPU requires 1.5 per user, and the CPU 3 megabits per user also. Also, there's something about the VDA. That's actually an issue. If you download the latest version of VDA, the virtual desktop agent from Citrix version 4, it doesn't work. Well, when you connect to it, mouse is like 10 centimeters from the cursor, or if you have multiple screens, doesn't work. I mean, I've been to a case where you had, okay, so I said, okay, I have this workstation. It has 2 screens, but I'm connecting from one of my PCs up to my desktop. That should work. Citrix actually said that should work. It doesn't work. And also now some of the guys, they have corrected it now, so it doesn't work. And I think, you know, that there's a lot of limitations in here, which I think is a big problem. Because many of these, you know, engineers, they have 2, 4 screens when they're sitting and working in all these 3 models. So it's quite important. So this is some of the stuff that's going to be fixed in the new version of HDX when it's going to be released later this year. That's multi-screen. And it's going to be CentOS 5. Also another great thing. I've been waiting 1 year for this. But yeah, we're getting there. And it's coming very soon. So, another thing is, you know, multiple screens, Mac, that's not good. So, you know, I want to connect up to my kids here, sitting from home or sitting in another location. I can do that if I have a Mac. So bring your own PC? No. If you're using Mac. But we heard here the other day, I think it was 50%, you know, wasn't it what they said? Citrix, Simon said 50% was Mac companies. Is that right?
It's advertising paid by Apple.
No, that was the Adams experience.
Me? No. Okay. So some of the advantages of this technology is, you know, we can take all these kind of users. So I have like a company, they're working and They are maybe manufacturing stuff to a wind turbine company or something like that. So what happened next is they say, okay, we want to expand our company, so we want to use this new offshoring. And India is a very popular place, China, US, and so on. Well, most India and China is actually, there's a lot of people are building stuff out there and hiring. And the problem is, so they put out the workstations, and now they have to have all these amount of data replicated forward and back. And this is the great thing about this technology, because you can actually take all the desktops, putting into the data center, have it all secure also. That's another very great thing. So, people are not capable of putting in a USB and actually stealing the data. And this is something that the company is really having an issue with when they are moving out to China, because they are very good at duplicating stuff. So, some of the limitations, because there's a lot of great things about it also. It actually works with the 3D connection, Spaceball mouse. It works out of the box. But you have to do some optimization. You have on the way how you install the driver and how you initialize it and so on. There's actually some stuff you have to do before getting it to work. Disadvantages is, multiple screens, no. And again, it only works with certain amount VDA version. So just saying what I just said. And also it's only set desktop 4, which I think is an issue. So let's say I'm a company where I just, going full in VDI 5.0, and I also want to leverage this technology out to users, then I have to have both environments, which I think is not good. So, sensor multi-GPU is the next level in desktop virtualization. It's the pass-through of graphic processing units, the GPU. So it means that you can take direct access to the GPU and giving it out to a virtual machine and assign it. This is pretty neat. Last year, when Sensor 5.6 came out, it was a tech pre-code. So you have to do a lot of stuff getting it to work. There was a lot of actually in the code console. In the Sensor 5.6 feature pack 1, it's an integrated technology. So it actually works out of the box. It's pretty cool. So it's easier to actually go in and configure it. So, again, what's new about this? It addressed the limitation related to only physical machines being able to deliver 3D graphics. And also allow us to share one workstation across multiple users. But it's one per GPU. But I think it's quite, it's quite cool. So I can take a server or workstation with 2 GPU and having 2 VDIs on it. Or you can actually have 1 or 2 Synapse servers. Also, this works with Synapse. So I can take the same server and actually put it on there and passing it through directly. But again, it's not supported. So there's some limitation. It will be supported in the future version of Sensor, this one, which is coming later this year. You can also use the technology with pooled images, and it relies on delivering the NVIDIA and Multi OS technology. So there is some limitation with the technology. This is what Citrix says. Again, I've seen people getting it to work with ATI. So, quite interesting.
Does it not have it already in 5.6 feature pack 1? But you already can do it?
Yeah, you can do it, but it's not supported.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So this is the layers. So we take first a piece of hardware, and then it must have VT for direct I/O enabled to get this to work. So you have to enable that in the BIOS. Put in some graphic cards, I recommend the Quadro. I'm not from NVIDIA, I'm not a salesperson. I'm just talking about how actually I see it working. And the FX 4000 card is actually a pretty good, decent card. It's cheap and so on. It's pretty, delivers a lot of CUDA cores, and actually, I think that will be a chosen graphic cards for companies. So what we do next is, yeah, we put in 2 graphic cards. And this is actually how it looks when you go in and enable the VC for direct IO. The next thing is you have to go in and attach, make a pass-through to the GPU. So first you verify that this is actually enabled, but it is enabled. This is where I said last year you had to do a lot of options, actually going in and enable this and put it into the boot menu and restart the sensor, but it's not built in. But this is a command line. You can go in and actually see, hey, I have access to hardware. You can also use this for other stuff like network cards and so on, going in and have an overview of it. The next thing you have to find the graphic device ID. Then you execute the LSI, LSPCI, and then you see the list of graphic devices. Then you will get a code from the graphic card. And you can typically see like NVIDIA, the HCI, so on, to verify it. And then you take like the entire line, but you've written down this ID number. This is the ID number we want to use to attach the PCI device directly to the VM. So if you want to get an overview, I just changed 3 and 4, sorry. Because it's quite important, you have to find a UUID on the virtual machine. You can either go in and show hidden objects, or you can actually fire a command line where you go in and XE VM list, then you can see what is the UUID of the virtual machine. So the next thing, yes, I want to attach the graphic to the virtual machine. This is not like really easy. I will admit that. I hope that this will be better when the software is going to be released, because there is a lot of rework on it. So try to imagine you have like hundreds of thousands of machines you want to do this with. And to tell you that actually customers out there where they're going to use it for thousands of customers. No, thousands of users, sorry. So yeah, the next thing is you attach the PCI device directly to the VM. That's the command line I put it in here, and then it works. Then when you boot up the VDI or the Synapse, then you go in and install the software and get it working. So if it was a desktop, then I first put in the VDA or the graphic cards, the VDA, and then HDX and then have pass through GPU to VDI. So there's a lot of steps doing it. It's not that complicated. I think that the first most complicated stuff is actually down here. And again, in Synapse 6, you just go in, and then you see the drivers and you install it. And then you also have to go in and enable this multiple monitor hook I mentioned earlier about the registry key. But I think it's pretty cool you can do this now. Taking a server and virtualize the GPU. It's pass through. So
this is strictly Zen server only, right? Not Hyper-V, correct?
yes. So all the stuff about how Microsoft is going to collaborate with Microsoft, I don't know. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. But there's nothing I'm aware of. But actually, Citrix is the only hypervisor out there where you can actually they are the first to leverage pass-through directly to the GPU. That's not what Microsoft is doing, right? Because they are doing the GPU virtualization instead with the remote FX. So again, the advantage better TCO, I will say. You're getting more users on the device, which is brilliant. So instead of just having 1-to-1, I can maybe have 2-to-1. That's one step. And also you can actually buy servers and PCs today where you have like 4, 8 graphic cards, maybe more. NVIDIA, they have this quadruplex bunch of graphic cards. You can actually also assign it to hardware and actually making GPU pass through. So a lot of great stuff, I think, with you can actually have this new high infrastructure density and workspace. But the disadvantages are, the limits. There are no official support for it. It's unstable. How is it unstable? So if you go in and take the graphic card, put it into the VM, you reboot it, it's gone. That sucks. So the only way of getting it to work, you have to shut down and restart. Then the setting is still applied on it. So is it enterprise ready or production ready? No. But for POCs, for companies that actually want to say, okay, we want to do this, actually if you have users that want to leverage this technology, you are capable of actually taking a talk with Citrix and getting access to the new pre-code of this sensor, where it should work better with this multi-GPU, where it's not that unstable. So this is more like a roadmap, or I would say, the conversation between CF6, desktop, HDX 3D, and sensor multi-GPU. There's a lot of things where I'm more also waiting for, because it could be kind of cool if they could share the GPU to like unlimited, but we're not there yet. Just like Microsoft did do actually with the remote FX. That'd be brilliant if you could do that in the future. So I hope they will be working on this, taking it to the next step, so we can have even better TCO. So instead of having like 2 VDIs on a machine to a GPU, or 2 GPUs, sorry, 1-to-1, I can maybe have like 50 users sharing 2 graphic cards in a slide. That would be pretty cool. So, yeah, when Citrix is coming out with this intro where they have support for it, and HDX 3D with multi-monitor screens, I would say this is definitely the next step of desktop virtualization we are getting across. So, some of the hardware vendors I will cover using this where it's actually enterprise ready and you can actually use the technologies. And I'm meaning all the 3 I mentioned. So HP, IBM, Dell, and Fujitsu. So I made a schematic from HP. I'm not good at all these PowerPoint animation, I'm sorry about that. So HP, they have 3 kind of technologies. They have workstations, then they have rack servers, and then they have blade workstations. And actually, they want to progress the users today for more enterprise ready. So let's say you have like 50 or 100 or 1,000 or more users you want, CAD engineers and so on. Then they say actually you should use blade workstation because that's the most efficient, most high enterprise redundancy way of doing it. So HP, they have this workstation 460G6, where you can take, this is the one. So in it there is onboard a graphic card FX 880 or FX 2800. But the problem is there's not a lot of CUDA cores on these cores. So if I want to become more like to CATIA users or something like that, you have to put an expansion unit on it. And this is why you actually can take these graphic cards and put it in. So this is pretty cool. The reason why I put a marker at the 4000 is not because...
That's okay.
Oh,
That's okay.
it's okay? I'm soon finished.
Sorry,
So-
just a very quick question. The classification of them, which one is better? Is the FX 800 something better than the Quattro, or?
No.
No. This is all about CUDA cores. And CUDA cores, it means better user experience. Higher performance and so on. How, when you move around and switching with the 3D object. So the more CUDA cores you have, the better experience. But the more cost.
But which one is more expensive? Let's say FX 880, is it like the entry level and the Quattro is the advanced level?
Yeah.
Alex, the old ones, that's on old core technology of NVIDIA. And the
FX
Quadros are of new ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's simple like that.
But yeah, these are the Fermi cards I'm talking about, but actually it works within desktop, so I haven't heard that before.
Not say that.
No, but but actually, these cards are NVIDIA just released these new cards, the Fermi cards, and they're cheaper, they have more CUDA cores, so this would be obvious. You're getting this instead of buying an old card. It costs a lot, 1.5 more the other ones. But this Quattro 6000 is the most fastest graphic card in the world, but it's very expensive. It costs about, I don't know in Danish, what's it? I think 5,000 euro. So, but actually, I know some people actually buying these cards because they don't have, they have to they have the requirements for it. So. This is the way that HP, they want to actually go out to the VDI, and this is how you're going to see with their strategy. They're going to force more on this with Citrix, Microsoft, and HP. Another thing is, if I don't have a blade enclosure, or maybe I have less users, then you can actually take servers like the DL170, but it's only one-to-one. But the 370 is one where you can actually put two GPUs in. So, you can put sensor on it, make two VDIs, and then there you have it. So this is kind of cool. Or you could use the other workstation. This is enterprise workstations from HP. I put in a link where you can actually see which graphic cards. Actually, this link shows all the 3D applications that's out there in the world, what actually works and the requirements. So it's the machines from HP. Yeah. So this is how it looks, the blade workstation. I think it's pretty cool. You just put it into this one, and you can then have a lot of machines. You need one enclosure, and then you can quickly scale up. That's why I will say this is the leading hardware vendor with the technology. IBM, they are also having blade servers, but the problem is it's one graphic card. So the new one actually, this is very important to tell you, they have two options. This is because actually the new graphic card, how fast it is and how big it is, and the new one, the new Fermi cards, you can only put one in it, but the old one are supported for two with the 3800. So that's why I said this is actually also enterprise ready product from IBM. And also they have this rack, so you can actually put two GPU cards in it from the DX 360. From Dell, we have no blade workstation. We have rack servers. And also this is pretty cool. They just released this R5500 where you can put two GPUs in it. And it's certified with the FX 4000. This is, I know this is the way that the hardware vendors, they want to go for this graphic card because it's cheap and it's leveraged a lot of CUDA cores and performance for users. That's why I'm saying I think this is the card that's going to be chosen, basically. But yeah, you can see it supports from 600 up to 6,000. And this, the reason why I put in these cards is because it has the minimum requirements for 96 cores. That's the HDX 3D requirement for doing GPU compression. They also have these two workstations where you're capable to put in 2 GPUs. So you can put in Sensor and use the Ultra GPU. That's what I'm trying to get you. Fujitsu. So where are they? Well, there's no blade workstations, and no servers. They're only workstations. I think it's a shame that they're not understanding that this VDI and how actually you have to also leverage more and more enhancement of graphic cards and so on. But they have these workstations, and actually, there's a wide support of graphic cards. They have like all the graphic cards from NVIDIA they're supporting, and you can put it in. And there's also you're capable of putting in 2 GPUs and share it. So, again, choose your strategy. Be wise. If you want to have a rack system like this, or you want to have more beautiful also like this, or you can have a bit like this. Just example of you have to be understand the issue. I think it's an issue if you take like game machines, put it into a data center. I've seen this with resellers. So maybe have 100 CAD engineers, and then they sell them game computers. It will work with HDX 3D, and then put it into a data center. That's just like taking issues, putting into a data center, and they're not ready for running 24 hours.
But you can actually really, from one gaming card, you can do simple firmware update. You can get a fixed card.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very easy.
It is. And you can even take your laptop and put it into a data center and then leverage this technology.
Yeah.
So you can be pretty clever in making funny solutions. So, yeah. Any questions? Okay. So I put in some of my shared knowledge about these technologies, where you can go in and look further how actually to configure, with Synapse 6, the multi-GPU, the GPU enablement, and also how you can configure HDX 3D for Desktop, and so on. Also another thing, if you want to read more about this Autodesk, they are ready, and how you actually configure which Autodesk products is it that can run on Synapse. You have to be careful about this because, again, they only certified 9. They have a lot of other products. I tried it with other products that are not on the list. It works on Synapse. And I had a customer who just talked with Autodesk and said, hey, we want this inventor from Autodesk to come and use a 3D application from Autodesk. They want to use that in Synapse because they can leverage a lot of users on it. It doesn't work with supporting from Autodesk. And the reason why they say it is because the licensing engine, they don't have any way of managing it. So at the moment you're not capable of doing that. So that's why they say no, but you can actually do it. So that's it.
Okay.